Hey guys, welcome to Gizaudio. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Fiio E10K Olympus 2. Now, this is a portable DAC that comes in at $89. This is the second version of the E10K, and they've made quite a few improvements. So we're going to look at all the specifications, again, go over all the improvements they've made over the version 1, and see if this is right for you. Let's get started. So this is a portable DAC, and now I expected this to be small, but when I opened up the package it was actually even smaller than I had anticipated. And just to give you some kind of size comparison, I have the Low-2 Paw S1, and you can see, so this is about the size of a your typical portable DAC right here. It's not a whole lot longer than the Paw S1, really. A little bit longer. And let's see, you can look at the thickness here. The E10K is pretty small, and so of course I took this on several walks strapped to the back of my phone, and I put it in my back pocket. It's not the most comfortable. It was a little bit of a tight squeeze in my back pocket, but it worked. It worked. Normally, up until I had received this, I was using my Paw S1, or I would use my DX220. And obviously, if you compare the DX220, I've taken this on many walks. The thing about portable DACs is generally when I go on a walk I have to have my phone with me anyway. So I'm taking this in one pocket, then I have my phone in the other pocket. If I don't want to have all of that bulkiness in two pockets, of course these are the better of the two options. So like I said, of course I had taken this on several walks and strapped it to the back of my S21 Plus and put it in my back pocket. Now one thing that can happen sometimes is so I'll plug the USB in here and then the other side into my phone, and then I'll have my headphones coming out here, and then I will slide it down into my back pocket, and then I have the headphones sticking out, and I can reach the volume knob. The problem is that the USB cable there's a lot of pressure being put on it in the bottom of my pocket. So over time, I've noticed with some DAC amplifiers, and I have not noticed with this one yet, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but the connection can start to get loose. So that can be kind of a pain. I have had a couple of DACs before, which once the USB would start to get loose, it would stop my power amp. I would have to pull my phone out, start it all over again, and just not the most convenient. Now, and also that's actually happened with my PAWS 1 as well. So that's not exclusive to this type of DAC amplifier. Now, of course, again, I haven't had that issue with this one, and I am pretty careful when I put it in my pocket as to not put too much pressure on the cable. So otherwise, as far as, again, it's a little bit of a tight fit in my back pocket, but then I don't have to have a DAP, and I don't have to have a phone also. So I can just have my phone with this strapped to the back of it, and it's pretty convenient. This is actually pretty light, even though it has a really solid build. It has a metal casing, and so it has a very solid build to it. It feels very premium. As far as the design, it is pretty plain, which for the price, I don't think, I think the focus is on function and performance. And I think as far as performance, this actually performs quite well, and the function is quite good also. I think it's good. The only thing is these switches do stick out a little bit, but I haven't accidentally hit either of these switches yet. As you can see, the switch is it sticks out quite a bit, so I could see myself accidentally hitting the gain, and that would not be good with a sensitive pair of IEMs. But anyway, I haven't had any issues with that yet. So let's go over the buttons, knobs, switches, inputs, and outputs of the E10K. On the front here, of course, you have your off-on volume knob. You have a bass boost, off and on. You also have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. On the back, you've got your USB Type-C input. So this is an audio input, but this is also your power supply from your phone or from your laptop or PC. You also have a coaxial out, a low and a high gain option, which is great because I do actually have IEMs that require both. I have the Campfire Solaris here, which I usually keep on low gain because this is a very sensitive IEM, and which I also use these to test the noise floor with, which we'll get to that in a minute. And then I also have the Kinera Nana, which this one actually requires, it's very power hungry. And of course I used the E10K in high gain mode for these, and it powered these just fine. And then of course you also have your 3.5 line out. Okay, let's go over the specifications of the E10K. Now, this is the second version of the E10K, and the first version actually had a really, really good reception within the audiophile community. And again, for the price, the performance, even with the first version, from what I understand, a lot of people felt like it performed way above its price point, and they've even made it's $89, and they've even improved upon that. So we'll go over the improvements on the inside really quickly. So now, one of the differences between the old one and this one is they have a newer DAC chip. The older one used the WM8740. This one has the PCM5102. So basically, just all around improved audio performance with this newer DAC chip. Also, this one has a lower noise floor, and I did test that out. with my Solarises right here. And it does have a really low noise floor. That was actually really impressive. It also has a new amplification stage. The old one had the AD8397, whereas this one has the LMH6643. So you just better transient response and more driving power. And of course, we went over the metal housing and the sturdy build quality. It's actually built quite well. So as far as the output power, it has 200 milliwatts at 32 ohms. It has a maximum sample rate decoding of 24-bit at 96 kilohertz. Of course, the frequency response is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And the recommended headphone impedance is 16 to 150 ohms. And this only weighs 78 grams. That's actually pretty light. And I did notice that when I had this strapped on the back of my phone, that it did not add much weight at all. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the sound of the E10K. Okay, we talked earlier about the improvement that they made in the Olympus 2 over the first version, and one of the improvements is the lower noise floor. And I talked about how this is I use my Solaris OG to test. This is a great IM for testing noise floors. And I have to say, I was really impressed. It's not a completely black background, but it is almost black. I also have the Fiio K3 that a review for this is going to be coming up here pretty soon. This one has a pretty much a black background, but there's a price difference between these two. But yeah, so I do have a review coming up on this soon, so keep an eye out for this. This is an impressive piece right here. So typically when I'm testing for noise floor, I'm listening to a lot of acoustic music, usually stuff that only has maybe one instrument or maybe a guitar and just vocals. All you need is just a track that's not very busy. So I tested that, and again, I was actually really impressed with how quiet this amp was. So again, I also have my Kinera Nana 2.0s. These are pretty hard to drive. Even I was actually shocked at how much how much I had to crank the volume knob up, even on the iFi Diablo with these. These things require a pretty good amount of power. And this thing does a great job. Of course, I put it in high gain, and this thing was able to power these pretty well. So that was really impressive. And also, of course, we have the bass boost on the front here. Again, usually, like all my other DACs, most of my listening time, at least my personal listening time, is with the bass boost off. I'm generally not one that likes to have bass boosts or any other type of processing going. I like to have it as minimally processed as possible. And but for the purposes of testing, of course, I'll always turn this on and try it out with different IEMs. This is actually a well-implemented bass boost. It does, it's a substantial bass boost. I did notice that it seemed like there was a little, like the mid bass was just a little bit higher than where I would want it. Now, and as far as the overall sound, the sound is very clear. It has good detail retrieval, good clarity. The it has a pretty overall balanced sound signature. And now sometimes I know that channel imbalance has been an issue with some DACs. I think the older DACs. I know that even on some of iFi's stuff, the iFi Diablo, I had issues with channel imbalance. I didn't notice any channel imbalance issues with this at all, which was nice. So that seemed to be all in order there. Overall, the sound quality of the E10K is really, really good. Of course, I did compare this. Again, all I can do is compare it to what I have. And what I had was my PAW S1, my DX220, and I've got 3 different DAC modules that I can use. And so I have one that's a tube amp, then the amp 1, which has a 2.5 balanced output, 3.5. Anyway, so I've got 3 different DAC modules from my DX220 that I was kind of comparing with this. Of course, I also compared it to the K3 here, and so I can only compare it to what I have, and I don't like comparing it to something I don't have on hand to do A/B comparison with, but I can say, as far as a lot of the other smaller portable DACs that I've owned under $100, generally, I would say that this is probably the best one that I've ever heard under $100, and I would say this one probably even competes with some in the $150 price range. With the improvements that they've made on this, that one was well received within the audiophile community. So this is just a very, very solid offering by Fiio. Again, for the $89 price, that is really, really impressive. And again, for the build quality, the housing is really, really strong. The volume knob feels sensitive, no channel imbalance. It's a well implemented bass boost. You have the high gain, which worked great for my Nanas. And so this is just a great little DAC. And again, I strapped this on the back of my S21 Ultra, stuck it in my pocket, and it was a little bit bulky, but you know what? Overall, it's not that bad. I can actually, I've gone on several walks with my dog, and it was actually pretty functional. I was able to reach back and mess with the volume because I had this was, you know, of course, like I said, this was coming out of the top of the back of my pocket. So I was able to adjust the volume level. So, but anyway, overall, for the price, I think this is just a super, like I said, a super solid offering. And I think that Fiio just did a really, really good job. And I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. So yeah, again, I've got the review for the K3 coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that. I wanted to say thanks to Giz Audio for allowing me to do this video for them. This has been a lot of fun working with them, and just really excited about what we've got coming in the future. So anyways, well, thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome day.